All right, so we've got us five here. Melissa is online. Nancy is online. Let's see. Timekeeper and minute taker.
I can do minutes if you want.
I can do time. I did it poorly the other night.
I'm tired.
Well, it was such a good conversation. I didn't want to end it.
Yeah,
Well, one thing about timekeeping, our agenda says we start at 6:30. The times on the agenda are still based on a 6 p.m.
Yeah.
So timekeeping.
So add 30.
Add 30.
I gotta finish this and then I'm sorry.
all right.
Catch up.
Additions or changes to the minutes from January.
It looks good to me.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
A second,
Second.
all in favor? Aye. Any RCC updates?
Got bumped again, a lot of sickness and scheduling conflict, so we're meeting tomorrow, so I
Yeah.
got nothing.
We also haven't met.
It's true, it's only been 2 weeks since
Yeah.
our last meeting, so
Yeah.
that also made things difficult. But yeah, in 2 weeks, I'll have an update for us when we meet. What, the 24th? Is that when we're meeting next time?
Any public comment? Alright, so. For information, turns up in 2025. Melissa, Chase, Cecilia. Post vacancies. February, March, deadline April 4th.
Where are the vacancies again? Chase, I miss.
Melissa, myself, and Cecilia.
Okay.
And Cecilia had mentioned she's ready to phase out,
Yeah,
and so,
a few times she said.
Yeah.
She's rolling on, thankfully,
Yeah.
but yeah.
But the Duncan will be posting the schedule, or maybe has already. And they'll see the vacancy. And so I guess that's the first step. And Cecilia can, or anyone can apply. The three of you can reapply.
so I just realized I have the wrong agenda.
Did any of you listen to Brave Little State? She was featured on the Town Forest edition of that came out a few days ago.
Oh, no,
I read it, I saw it online, but no.
Yeah, she was on. So, nice little
I
bit.
did, it was interesting.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then, if this isn't off topic, Cecilia, of course, is in charge of the survey of town forests, electing of a record of them and information, so we'll be answered in that survey and we'll get to hear about other town forests as a result.
Yeah, that's a cool project.
that's cool. Okay, that last item was actually not on the right agenda. I took it from
Oh,
last agenda, sorry.
doesn't hurt.
So jumping right into management plan.
Did you say agenda side?
Melissa?
Yeah.
Melissa,
Hey, I just had a comment about the tech. So everybody's super clear except you, Ian. When you speak, it's really garbled. So I don't know if you're too close or too far away from a microphone, but I can hear everybody else like really super well, crystal clear. But you are garbled.
I'll move it down a little closer to him.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just Ian. Everybody else is great.
Thanks for that.
Thanks.
Melissa, I'll talk over the top of the laptop screen. That may help too. Is that better?
That's much better. Yeah.
Good. Thanks for that.
All right, so we put an hour and a half for management plan, and I remembered our conversation last time expressing the aim to kind of go through all the revisions, top to bottom. And so, I mean,
Yeah.
it seems like we would start. If our real goal is to do the whole thing and not just parts,
Right,
might as well start from the top.
yeah, and
Or,
I went through today and edited just tiny stuff. And I could bring it up, or I could hand this to the person, to Ian, who's gonna update it.
yeah, I'm open to a lot of interpretations of this, but I also looked through like all of your edits. You had a lot of good grammatical stuff, and it seems not worth us all re-wordsmithing something. I'm fine just saying anyone who made a grammatical suggestion or wording
Right,
suggestion,
it
let's,
doesn't change the content.
yeah, I mean,
Right,
So do we want to agree that you can just integrate those into the document, and then if there's a conflict or a question about one of those, then we can just bring it up at our next meeting, and then we can just get through those quickly? Because there might be two people that notice the same thing, maybe there are two different suggestions, or you can just, you know, make an executive decision to choose the better.
So it's the sense of the meeting that I can use my judgment in making small modifications that haven't necessarily been discussed, but leave comments in place.
yeah, I mean, I would say that the place for me where that would end would be things that imply I don't know, a stance on,
Yeah, I think we're just talking like.
yeah, but
grammatical
any
stuff.
grammatical or wording things.
We can just.
Please
take
do.
those now and just,
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
integrate them
And
later.
we'll see the change anyway, so when we
Yeah,
go over that.
that would be wonderful.
Yeah.
yeah, I actually called Brad today, cause I thought Brad put something in, and I go, Brad, I wanted to, if I was gonna offend him, to take it out, I wanted to offend him at home.
So sensitive.
And not in the meeting, well, he didn't
That's
put
pretty
it in.
nice.
He didn't put it in, so then that was my only substantive thing, was removing one chart. And other than that, it was just little teeny things.
Mhm.
And you've done a lot of work.
Oh, God.
You don't need to tell me that. Well,
Okay,
maybe I'm spending too much time on this, but certainly, you know, you can make things easy for me. You have by just annotating a printed copy. If I can
yep,
take that away and work.
You
with it,
will,
and-
yeah.
And like I say, do things that look like they're just simple corrections and leave things that need discussing.
can I, just because I had one thing a chart that I thought could be somewhere else, can I bring that up? And then I have nothing to add. Yeah, sure.
Please, yeah.
So on page 17, under recreation, there's a list of trails in Richmond and communities. There's a table. And I thought Brad had put it in there, and I think that should maybe go at the end somewhere as an appendix. If it was important to be part of the document, I'd put it towards the end. That was,
And I'd be concerned it would just be out of date so quickly.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
think we could do a reference to, like, what is it, Trail Forks?
yeah,
You know, if somebody wanted to see what's around, they could go, you know what I mean? And that's updated for us. That's all, just to try to keep this thing current and not go obsolete on us.
I like that idea. I mean, when Brad and I were working on some of the wildlife management stuff, Brad's idea was to take a lot of stuff and put it in as appendixes or appendices, just because people want to look at the plan and just get to the meat of like what, you know. Yeah, exactly. So like if you throw every single piece of information on background and stuff, you know, up front, then it can take forever to get to what you're looking for. So I would agree that this belongs
Yeah.
more as appropriately as an appendix.
There's other stuff like that in there too. You know, I kept finding, I'd say stuff, suggest things, or even just write it. It's more for our audience. so the rest of the committee would understand it. And then if that happens and if people agree on that point, I think you could wipe out a lot of the justification to that. And it's just there, you know, we're gonna do ABC instead of saying, well, so therefore, hey, you know. A lot of the lead up to some of the concrete stuff probably could go away eventually.
Yeah, and then I had a really similar comment, just on the paragraph above and on that table. Together where I thought the paragraph above comes across as, and I'll give you a second to read it and then.
This is the bolded.
I was in the
Yeah,
paragraph,
highlight
starting at line
section.
11.
What page?
Seven, right, mine's
Oh, this is
17.
way back up here.
Yeah, it's the second paragraph on 2.9. So now new trails and
Right.
parking.
Mine says 23, but maybe I'm looking at the wrong version.
Oh yeah, mine says
Yeah,
22.
that's the first.
2.9 second
Oh, I'm
paragraph.
sorry.
Section 2.9.
Yeah.
So I printed the wrong copy.
No, the pages have gotten.
So actually, yeah, Chase, two things, Julian sent an email to us, I think all of us, just today saying he can't be present, and he attached a copy of the draft management plan, including some comments. So we have his comments, but, you know, they didn't make it into the public document. I don't know how many people had a chance to see them, but I looked briefly, and his, one of his comments is about that table. I think he's not in favor of it. I don't think it's essential to the information, but at the same time, you know, we need to be trying to document the context of the forest relative to other resources in the town nearby. I mean, I think there's no harm in that. The second point that I think should be made that arises frequently is and actually relates to your request that we discussed at the last meeting to the select board is what are the priorities for addressing management plan revisions? And it is often said that, and it's commented in the materials we have, that one has to put the horse before the cart, and the horse is the management plan overall, and that needs to be leading the trails planning and maybe the whole recreation plan. I mean, we should bear that in mind, I think, as we discuss the recreation component, that we can't necessarily resolve everything without having some issues that are arising earlier in the management plan without having them resolved.
I think
Yeah,
Chase
comment.
wanted to make a point in paragraph that starts on 13.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for me, it reads like a subjective warning about the encroachment of bikes and trails, which doesn't seem like the spirit of the management plan. There aren't, I mean, it says like new mountain bike technologies such as lighter frames, e-bike and wintertime tires. Bikes aren't getting lighter now.
Some bikes. There's more types of bikes.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem totally appropriate to be, it's pushing a stance that trails are encroaching everywhere, which I think a lot of people think there's a fine balance. So that's my opinion there, and I feel like the table is used to push that viewpoint. Or like, in another world, people would say we've got far fewer trails than the Stowe area. And
So you would advocate for including the table there?
I would wipe it out I mean, me reading this paragraph seems like someone's saying there's already plenty of trails, we don't need more trails here.
Right.
You know, where I would say the same thing if someone was saying we have far too few trails here. Here's this table that proves that point. It just seems like
Okay.
not the place to make an argument one way or the other.
the fact that has been raised is that there are 100 miles of multi-use trail within Richmond and surrounding towns. And people have contested that. I've heard people say, no, I can't believe there's really 100 miles of multi-use trail. So I put that table in for my own edification and nothing else, just to see if it's true. I mean, it does add up to 100 miles of bike trails. You know, whether that needs to be in our management plan or not is maybe by the way, but I think it's important information. But the information which I think is being addressed here is maybe an impossible task, but anticipating the volume of traffic, of human traffic that would be present if trails were built. You know, if there were more trails, how much would they be used? How, you know, can we anticipate that in any way? I don't know, but we do know that recreation is just booming. It's booming here and elsewhere, and that the mountain bikes are a you know, significant contribution to trail use wherever they are.
Yeah, I think, to me, I could look, this is actually a perfect example of what I was talking about. I think that information needs to be part of our discussion here. Whether it belongs in the management plan, I don't think so, not necessarily. I mean, I take issue with some of the, you know, the things you said there, Chase, in your comment. And we could discuss that, but at the end, that doesn't mean I'm arguing to keep this in, but I think some of those considerations need to drive ultimately our management plan to acknowledge that it is a huge booming industry, that, you know, there's more volume on trails and there's other trails around. It's not the end of the world if we don't, you know, say have SOS. It's not going to be this huge mountain biking tragedy. In the exaggerated, of course, but you know, there are other options, and then we can, then that's just, I think, should be part of the discussion, and we can go talk back and forth on it. But whether that belongs in there, no, I think it's there mainly to put that issue on our table.
Yeah,
and down the road, I think it can disappear because our plan will be built on some facts, not necessarily those may be overruled totally. But at least I think they deserve, that has to be part of what we're talking about.
And when you're saying that, you're referring to
The shaded part.
the shaded part.
Because that comes down to the need, you know, before the town can go out and buy salt, somebody's got to say, well, the salt shed's empty, we need salt. And that addresses need, and that's all. The need needs to be part of our discussion. Any trail, do we really need one? You know, we're not just a bunch of.
yeah.
You know.
I mean,
So that's.
I agree with that. And like, my perception is different, that it's an industry that peaked in COVID and has flattened, and the bike industry is struggling as an industry, and there's a passionate culture around here. But I don't see it as a booming thing that's growing like crazy now. I think it, you know, when everyone got their COVID checks, a lot of people bought bikes. And Cochrane saw a huge bump in COVID that they say now has subsided. They're no longer seeing that volume of traffic.
Could be.
So I have a couple questions. So it sounds like we're in favor of either, you know, condensing this to like maybe a line that's objective, that just talks about ACF's place, you know, in the Richmond community as far as trails go. If we're doing that, do we want to remove that now, or like, I mean, Brad was mentioning like, this is important for us to just think about as we're moving forward. When's the appropriate time, if we're gonna remove it, or if we're gonna rewrite it to be something, you know, objective and concise? Are we doing that right this second, or are we leaving it? Because, I mean, part of the goal here is to just kind of go through the document, right, and get it into the place where we want it to be. So like,
Right.
are there, like, do we wanna cut this and put in a separate document that people wanna remember? I mean, like, I think that there are folks that have opinions about this on both sides that probably aren't gonna forget about it as we're talking about how we wanna develop a management
Right.
plan and how we wanna talk about trails. So I think we've all been sort of duly warned, I guess, by, you know, the risks of you know, putting in trails because of mountain biking, but like, I don't know, I guess we've all read this and like understand that, so I would almost be in favor of, because we're editing the document now, to just rip that out now or rewrite it into a single sentence right now and just move forward.
What if we?
I see Melissa was up for it.
She
Hi,
have a-
Melissa, you wanna jump in?
sure, yeah, just a quick question. Who was the author of the paragraph we're talking about, and when was it put in the management plan? It's not original to the
No.
plan. I hear Ian put in the table. I don't know who wrote the paragraph that we're talking about right now and when it was inserted into the management plan, so
Yeah, I think I did, I'm pretty sure.
you
it's
did,
me.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it sounds like me, yep. You know, I was thinking, what if we? What if, oh man, yeah, to yank it out. It does leave a hole, what if we changed it to italic? As something that is possible background, and include the comments, you know, Chase's and Julian's comments on down below. And then up front, we said something like italicized stuff is what we think might be just deleted, basically.
I guess my
That way
question would be,
it lives for a little while longer for whoever say isn't here tonight.
what if we put it in a separate archive doc with
Well, which
its
is-
section number?
We've already got that here, actually, so we could,
Oh, we do?
well, I mean, it's already in this doc, so the next version. I mean, if we just deleted it, right, and then we assign a new file name to it, this still lives in the background document.
Oh, I got
Not
you.
back-
I got what you're saying.
Previous version.
I guess I was just thinking, let's try to avoid creating a situation where we have to come back and discuss the same thing again.
Right.
So in the interest of moving forward, can we keep this, the factual statement that there's 100 miles of trails in this multi-town area, but it doesn't need the table to justify it. So I'm saying in the interest of
Yeah,
moving on, cut
That
the
sounds-
table, but keep the 100-mile statement.
yeah, or even the table. I think just the exclamation that bike use is expanding and is a major factor in this.
Be nice to get some evidence for that.
Right, well, I mean,
I think, yeah, that also is just, I mean, I guess this is sort of like the history of the forest, but again, like, I think putting too much history, I mean, we could include all kinds of things about, you know, we could include the entire, Arrowwood report about the 4-town study, you know, but that's not really appropriate necessarily, you know, to put in this section of history, for this document. So like, I would just condense this to say something like, you know, the Andrews Community Forest, you know, plays a role in the network of trails, in Richmond and the surrounding towns, which, you know, in total, you know, are approximately 100 miles or something like that, you know, and then just say like, for more information on trails, see this link to Trails Forks or see appendix, whatever, and just link this table down there. And then that way, we're still saying like, hey, there's a lot of trails in Richmond, there's a lot of trails next to Richmond. This is a piece of it, but it's a little bit less subjective. And it's still giving people history about the fact that there's a lot of trail, you know, there are a lot of trail networks in the area. And then that way it kind of, I don't know, it's still there, it still references the trails and people can still access that list. I don't know, like, does that?
yeah, that works for me.
And then, so how do we actually do that? And this is really important thing, for all the other future stuff we're gonna do.
So would we make a new copy and erase it from that?
Well, I don't, yeah,
Like a new edition would flow out of tonight's meeting.
Yeah,
I guess if we use the same original copy, you know, that everyone took their notes on.
Mhm.
I don't have, the version of Word that I have is read only, because I don't have a license, so I can look at all this stuff, but I can't necessarily note it, but somebody, if they had that fresh copy. As we go along, could just write all these edits into the new file and then, email it to Ian, or you could do it, I don't know.
I think I've archived 8 or 10 editions of this management plan since I took over working on it. I took over from Daniel, and so I've been archiving different versions.
Okay, so I can edit.
So this would be the version, you would take the copy that Ian sent us, for this meeting or for the meeting, or the last meeting, right? Cause that was the copy that Ian had finished his edits on, and that's when it got sent out to all of us.
So could you edit this page? Now, this is a question relating to public meeting, not someone's ability to edit.
Okay.
Could you edit this page and send it to Brad to review?
I don't know.
Or, yeah, I don't know about, what I was gonna suggest, what if,
Why don't you just save it at the end of the meeting and we could post it publicly?
Okay, I have another suggestion.
Go ahead.
I'm on this version right now where I made my edits on top of Sam's.
Okay.
And I can share this version with you all right now, so we're all on the exact same version.
Okay,
So that's helpful for us, but the thing about open meeting law is that is that version
yeah, they're not.
publicly available? Was that one included in the last meeting? It may have been.
It's in the agenda, the only.
Let me
thing-
just double check, because if it isn't, if that copy is in last meeting's agenda, then it has been publicly posted, which means we could use it.
But,
Otherwise, it's a kind of a private copy that we're sharing.
the issue is gonna be Julian's edits only came in today.
But we can integrate his today, like as we can look at his stuff and we can discuss and we can, but we were just talking about like which version, we can't take somebody's. Version that they did separately that hasn't been
No.
posted, because
Right.
that's like private information. But I'm pretty sure, let me just double check the meeting archive. I thought that the version that you had done, or maybe it was just on an email, but it definitely made it to the group. I just can't remember if it was publicly posted or not. But if that doesn't work, we could just, take the copy that Ian has posted at this meeting or the meeting before, and then just do our edits off of that. And then that is a publicly available copy that we can just,
Yeah.
take all of
As
it.
long as he can send it to all of us in a format that we can. Open, I mean, one of us could edit it up there.
Word works, right?
Because what I've been doing is updating what's in the packet with comments that have arrived since the last meeting. And then that becomes public when it goes out with the agenda.
So, I mean, it seems like the ideal would be if you brought up that document and projected it. And made a new copy of it that we could edit, right?
Yeah, which one?
In real time.
Melissa has a hand up too, but which version should I grab while Melissa's talking?
Well, how about this, though,
How about
The one you
you-
should be using is the one that the public has seen in the packet for open meeting law. That's the one that we should be working off, and then things that haven't been distributed to the public yet can be added for the next time to be
Right.
shown up, and you can add those and you can keep those, like the things that Julian just sent in that didn't get in the packet, but they can be added and then shown in the packet for the next one. But the one you should be working off of is the one that the public has seen the edits on that was included in the packet.
I agree.
How about, though, we just do this, I know what you're saying, I'm just afraid. We'll eat up all the time if we're rewriting the thing itself. What if we just put a note? So we take, say, for instance, right here. We wipe out. The shaded stuff, the comments and the tables, say, right? And then we put maybe in brackets. A note, and I just wrote, maybe include 100-mile figure and leave it. And that's for the editor down the road to see. At some point, we may have to explain, or, we can embellish that a little bit, that's very short. And not worry about trying to write the thing right now, but put the point whatever that, I think you were doing it, Sam, you were, starting to rewrite or come up with a sentence, just put the gist of it in and not try to polish it.
I like that, and then, but could we leave no maybes? And just say, we're just saying
Yeah,
this, so
sure.
then we don't have to go back to
Sure.
it,
Yeah,
whatever we decide.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so we call it done.
okay.
Right.
And we'll just, okay, we don't have to vote on, unless we have to vote, maybe, right? If it sounds like consensus and Melissa's happy. We just keep an eye on her, right, Melissa? So we don't forget her in consensus, but
It looks like Tyler M is in the waiting room. See, it says admit Tyler M.
Oh, thanks. Oh, so I've been trying to keep an eye on it. For some reason, people can't get it in automatically.
Oh, maybe they just,
Maybe just.
No, I don't see them.
we were close.
So we have posted the version that has your comments on my comments. That is in today's meeting, so you can use that version if that's the one that you would prefer to use.
Okay,
Like,
So-
I would just grab the one straight from the town website, like for today, if you wanna do it that way. Although this might be a, yeah.
so we'll work with Julia, not with the one with Julia, but the earlier, the one in the packet.
okay, so
Okay, we killed this one.
should I? Does one of us wanna volunteer to? Note our decisions, and I'm gonna erase the comments
Yeah.
and just put it,
I'd be happy to do that.
you wanna do that?
Sure.
So are you seeing,
But I just gotta get the latest and greatest stuff here. Yeah, Joy, what was your question?
well, I just wanna make sure you're looking at this. Thank you. Mine's like, works,
This is,
but,
what's B1 MP205?
So that one is the one that has my comments on it and also Chase's comments, but it's converted to a PDF. So that one you can't use in Word. So maybe what you should do is just,
well, I can share this one.
okay, well, no, but
What was sent, what's in the packet is the PDF of a Word version of, the original is
so can
Word.
we use that?
And I sent it to all the committee members after I sent the PDF, I said, and here's the Word that
Okay,
is.
so if I go to your
Generated
email,
the PDF.
Okay, so Melissa, does that make sense to you that we could use that version? Just like the PDF, yeah, because the PDF generated version from that docx file has been shared. Brad could use the docx version to note. Correct, okay. Cool, alright, well, I guess we're good. I think we all agree that that makes the most sense.
I gotta find it, that's all.
I can shoot it over to you.
You have the Word?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got the Word version.
Okay.
Let me come up with the link.
What happened to Tyler? There was a request from. Tyler to
I know, was it Tyler Masha or Tyler Merritt?
do we know which Tyler? But I thought I clicked on, for some reason, people can't join automatically, so I've been having to click on admitting them, and I thought I clicked on a Tyler, but I didn't see a Tyler.
Could be.
But Brad, I've just sent that.
Okay,
Well, let me. My phone is. Everywhere.
think I have it.
So then you also. Can, now that it's solved, you can like check off my edits and just make them disappear,
Yeah,
since we've discussed it.
what's the title of the document is the same, is that MP? Oh,
MP2 chase edits on top of Sam edits, C margins.
Oh. But that's not in the, is that,
Yeah, that's what was in the packet.
We can use it because that was converted to a PDF and then posted to today's
Okay.
meeting, so
Okay.
it's the same version.
And I haven't updated
I
since.
think I had that.
And we should.
So we're on
note-
page 22 of that document.
We should note that Tyler, that's probably Tyler Merritt, has joined the meeting and apologies that for some reason we're having to admit people, they don't get admitted automatically. And
Who just-
Hi, Tyler.
we may have delayed a little bit in
So we have
getting
to-
you admitted.
Tyler Merritt.
Apologies
Just
for
Tyler.
that.
It's fine. I'm just listening, so don't mind me.
I don't see that yet, Chase, I'm waiting, but.
Was it Tyler Merritt or Tyler Masha?
Misha, so don't mind me.
Oh.
Like I said, I just have it muted.
Okay.
I'm just listening because they're not
Cool.
live streaming it tonight because of the select
Yeah.
board.
Well, we can keep going.
Okay, so we got a format and
Um. So so what am I doing? I'm gonna put,
So we're just putting a note by that paragraph to just say, you know, rewrite to,
Yes.
to include, you know, ACF's place in the greater trail landscape.
Mhm.
And are we also moving the table, or are we, to an appendix, or are we going to put it, just leave it there? Or just put a link?
I would say, since it's evolving, let's put a link to Trail Forks.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay,
Does that, yeah, I guess, is that going to, would we have a link that would show all the trails within, you know, like,
You're right, that doesn't work because Trail Forks is accessed through each
yeah,
organization's website.
and these each have their own.
So you would put a link to Richmond Trail Forks.
Richmond Trail
And
Forks.
then once you get on that, you can zoom out and see everything,
Okay,
on their map,
okay,
but it seems like directing people to Richmond Trail Forks.
okay.
Because the source for the 100 miles is coming, the sources are Trail Finder, Catamount Outdoor, Trail Forks.
Yeah.
So we could put a link to,
But I think it's a strange thing to just put mileage and no other info, like. Some of them are trails that require payment, some of them are on private land, some of them. Don't allow some uses and not others.
So maybe we, not tonight, but on another night, we work on this table that's at the back of the document to have more information in it.
Yeah,
It's gonna get older.
Right, but all tables get old. You could put as of today.
If you put the link there,
Oh, if you put the link, okay,
it's gonna be 9 years old someday.
right, okay. All right,
but the problem is the link, because these are hosted on different websites. Like there's not one singular link that we could put it, directed to unless we're having, you know, the town
Okay,
create a
so-
page that this would link
So we
to.
say available on websites such as, and just add a couple, and we're never gonna have the perfect list.
Yeah,
So just make it such as, I mean, it's
yeah,
not. no
such
one's-
as Trail Finder and Trail Forks.
Such as Trail Finder, Trail Forks, yeah.
yeah, it's not up yet.
And so the plan is to just say that and nix the table, or it's becoming an appendix?
I would mix the table.
I'm cool with that.
Trails Committee wants to do it. I mean, it's really, the Trails Committee ought to have, not ought to, but could, try to do something like that, but it's really not the relevant figure here is, even that, it's if there's choices. So I just wrote add 100-mile figure for various bike trails in the area would link to websites such as. I'll clean some of this language up a little bit, so it reads better, but it'd be more aimed at an editor down the road. Right. Well, that took a while, but maybe that,
We got a format.
I think, yeah,
Hopefully.
I think
It
it's,
sets us up.
yeah, it's gonna pay off down the road. Right.
Plus a while that was, technical stuff that we were working through,
Yeah.
so hopefully the rest of
Yeah.
it will go a lot faster.
Okay, thanks.
So do we wanna go back up to, the top or like the first edits? Cause we kind of started with page
Let's do it.
17 or say page 23, and there's stuff above that.
Like all the way to the,
The first edit I see, I mean, it's a little hard for me to see both the edits and the comments. I'm assuming that the comments or the edits, we kind of decided that Ian could just integrate those, so like, the first place I see edits is on page 6. Or actually, well, it's a lie, there's actually page 5 is the first one that I see. I'm not sure if I wrote that or somebody else did, but. Those, like, if we go to section 1.1, there are a couple edits in the last sentence of section 1.1. Those are the types of things that I think we can just let Ian do, right?
Yeah.
So that's just saying like, that's just cleaning up the
Yeah.
grammar.
yeah, I'd leave that.
So most of that stuff we can skip, and we can mostly stick to the comment stuff, which is gonna be the stuff we're more likely to, actually want to discuss and,
Yeah.
vote on whether or not we want to change it.
Like page coming up, that line 16, your comment.
Yeah, exactly. And this might be me just being ignorant, but I read the phrase non-human people of the forest and was like, what does that even mean? And I looked it up and maybe it's a terminology that I just don't understand because I'm not, I don't know that much about the, indigenous history of the forest. I think Cecilia's not here to enlighten me, but I was just, checking to make sure that is
It is.
the words that we wanted to use there.
I think that's sort of a term of art right now.
Okay.
I would just maybe leave your comment in for Cecilia to comment on maybe.
Okay.
Right.
But
Yeah, I
Just to
got
make sure she did that intentionally.
Yeah, I have no
Yeah.
problem with that as
Yeah.
long as
That
this
was new
is
to
what
me.
was intended to go there. I'm
Right.
not the
Maybe me
expert.
too, but it
So,
is.
I mean, I think the intention of the agenda was to look specifically at these two sections, the 2.9
So now,
and.
Oh, so we don't wanna go through other comments. Okay.
Chase had
2.9
suggested,
Yeah, that's why I brought up in the beginning. I was recommending going top to bottom, because we're
Oh,
here.
okay.
Yeah,
I think a lot of these are gonna be pretty quick. It's just, it is the like wildlife, and recreation ones that we're gonna probably do deeper discussion on. So we might be able to just zip through some of these other ones and then.
Well, in any case, if comments appear in my inbox, in my email after this meeting, I'll add them into the document as new comments or suggestions, edits, whatever, and then they can be in the public document for our next meeting, which will be a month from now.
Yeah.
So you've got a month, is that a plan to spend the next month sending written comments to me, and I'll try and incorporate them all into.
well,
a new
I
version?
was gonna, is that what we agreed? I was gonna kind of compile as we go along tonight.
For sure,
And I'll
yeah.
give you that, so you only get them from,
Yeah, but I mean, I'm thinking that's part of it, but, in addition to that, people like Sam who want to make comments and send them But rather than discussing them now, send them for our next edition.
Yeah, I don't know, I mean, I feel like we had last meeting where we thought we were gonna talk about this stuff, and people had a chance to leave comments, and they did on their sections, and some folks.
For
left
sure.
comments on other sections, and then now we have tonight, so. I'm not sure what the point of continuing to leave the document open for additional edits, you know. Well, I thought that's what we were meeting here for.
To try to just get it done.
Fine.
To just get through and then that way Brad's writing these notes up and then he can clean up whatever after after we finish and then send it to Ian and then you can write up what Brad's edited and then that's the version that we'll get published. I mean, I suppose if people continue to send you stuff after the fact, then you could also include those in the next meeting, but it seems like at some point we gotta just make a call. Like it's been, 8 weeks or more that we've had to look at this and comment, so.
So can you go to 1.2?
Oh, yeah, sorry,
I have two little comments.
yeah,
1.2 acquisition, second paragraph. It says Vermont Land Trust acts as the primary easement steward,
oh,
and there,
Or 1.3.
1.3. Where is that?
no, it says 1.2.
Your 1.2 is different.
All right,
I know that primary, I did see that in some.
and it's
Oh,
get rid of the
yeah,
word primary and use the word conservation easement steward, because there's no secondary.
Right, good. Okay, I'll just stick that in.
All right,
So is this good, right? I'm putting up 1.2 on the screen.
yeah,
Yeah.
yours is different than Brad's. So then next sentence.
Yeah, mine's
Same
in
thing.
1.3.
Okay, so Brad, go to the next sentence. See the word primary in the next sentence?
Yeah,
So that should be conservation as well.
okay, you could just combine those two sentences and just say, so they're the primary and.
Well, there is no primary.
No, they're
They're
the
the-
conservation, but then we can kill a
Right.
bunch of those words. Yeah, but I gotta get my,
I am now confused about. Who's using what.
Yeah, and it seems like Brad, your version should be up there.
yeah, I'm
We
looking
should
for,
be
I'm
looking-
looking for the Word version. I haven't got that yet, Chase.
Oh, the email from me?
No.
This,
Let me.
what's on the screen, I believe, is what.
Oh, I thought you were on that, let's see.
No,
I thought, I'm looking at the latest one, what I thought was the latest I got from, Ian.
I got mine from the town.
I should have just worked with a darn.
Is it BRADGE at Comcast?
Yeah. I just worked with the Julian one. And then that will have the Julian's comments for the public to see.
Okay,
That's the only change.
you're all set. So I
I'm
should
gonna
bring
go
up,
back to
instead of
the
bringing
Julian.
up the one from the packet.
You can't
bring up
use
the one
Julian's
that-
because it wasn't posted publicly, that
Well,
one.
we won't talk about Julian's comments.
Okay,
And then this will be posted, then they'll get posted,
okay,
So, okay. So let me go back to that.
All right, so those are my comments right on that page. I can get some water.
Sorry, we're all here. Just here.
How'd my email not go through?
I don't know, I'll check it again in a second.
Double check, it says it went.
Comcast sits on them sometimes.
It's called version for edit. I'm showing it as sent at 7:12.
Okay. I just checked spam too. 7-Eleven's the last one.
I'm gonna send you one too, and see if you get it.
Okay.
So I'm pulling up Julian's comments. Is that what I'm supposed to be doing?
No, we shouldn't talk about Julian's comments.
Okay, I'll stop that one. And bring up the, is it helpful to bring up the one from the packet?
Where was that table on page 17 or something?
I had it at 22. When I was looking at it.
All right, this is fresh, this doesn't. This may be it. All right, I'm looking at one without Julian's comment, so this must, I think I got it.
And that-
Where it came from, so then right here, like 1.3, right?
1.2.
1.2,
So what you, I don't
So
have a
that's-
1.3.
okay, that syncs up. You don't have 1.3 conservation easement? No,
But you have 1.3 on your version?
1.3 conservation easement, and then above that is,
That's the version I'm looking at.
Okay,
That's the
I must
version
have
that
grabbed the
Jason-
wrong one again.
And then do you have Sam's comments in the margin? On the right side?
there.
They don't,
I
they probably won't
have,
show
I
by
have
default.
Sam incorporated. So in other words, the non-human thing has got him in red right in the text, SP comment.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, I think you got the right.
But the easement thing is, the language is here, so I can still fix it.
I'm not great at this.
I can fix that, so I'm gonna just make that, primary is gonna become conservation.
Right.
I'm gonna put it.
The last thing I wish we could do is just somehow put that version up there. So we
Yeah.
could all just look at the same thing.
Yeah,
So I would have to sign in Zoom.
No, I think Ian could get on the same live document, could he? And just
Yeah, well, it should be
put that one
there.
up there?
That should be it, right?
well,
I don't know if Word works that way where multiple people can be on a document at once.
I don't know, I don't know if we wanna figure that out right now.
Yeah, we can roll ahead.
If I have Brad's document, I can put it up on the screen, but
Yeah, you won't see what Brad's writing, but you
Yeah,
could at least get the same version of that we're all looking at,
Okay.
but I don't know,
Or if we're all looking at it,
yeah, that's.
right, I can shoot this over to you.
That's fine.
if
I'm
Brad
close enough. I wrote on mine.
next to Zoom, he can share his screen.
Jesus. Okay. Still that. Conservation easement, okay, great. Stewart, as the, okay, now, all right, let's go. I got it.
Yeah, I go much further into the document before I have anything else.
Okay.
You want me to do that?
Yeah, give us.
All right,
Or no, should we go in order?
let's go in order.
Sorry.
That's fine. Go in order. Who's next?
So we're just scrolling down, seeing,
Yeah, so I guess if we're skipping the inline edits and we're just doing comments, then the next one would be mine, which was 1.5. End of the second paragraph, ACFC will engage with the local Abenaki community to identify potential ACF members or ACFC members. I just had a general question, like, are we actually doing that? Does this happen? Should we clarify? Does this happen every time a seat opens? You know, just kind of a general statement saying like, we'll do it, but it's not setting any guidelines for when to do it, like, you know.
right,
Also, who to reach out to. I mean, it seems like Cecilia's got the most knowledge in that department. If she's rotating out, then what? You know, like who is responsible for figuring out who our
Yeah,
contact is?
Uh-huh.
When are we reaching out, you know?
so how about,
There's a,
safer,
there's a chat from Melissa to you. Chief.
hey, Melissa,
This is
Hey,
Melissa
yeah, oh, I
Rhodes.
didn't get the
Oh, yeah,
email
yeah.
yet from you, but
I
I'm
just
talking
thought of
about the
that.
Abnaki thing for a second, which is that, the last we visited this, we learned that there were no Abnaki residents in Richmond. Therefore, no potential applicants to the committee, since you have to be a Richmond resident. There was some brief talk batted around about it, some kind of advisory role or
Awesome.
something of
So
that
Rick's-
nature. But you can recheck that again if you want, but when this was last brought up, which was a while ago, there were no Richmond residents of the Abnaki tribe who could be potential candidates for the committee.
Okay, that's good to know.
Hey, Melissa, just chime in. If you don't wanna
Okay,
use.
I don't
the
want to
hand.
like talk over people
No.
and stuff, so, but I
Just
will.
say, hey, I just sent Melissa and write the version. You're not on the
Thank you.
computer anyway.
No.
Yeah, but I mean,
I
not
was
to
like,
waste
open it
more,
up.
not to waste more time on it. I think we should double check with Cecilia, but circle back to that because
Yeah,
Okay.
I,
I'm gonna put a asterisk on that, and that is gonna be my code to check with Cecilia. And then later, if there's two asterisks, it will be check with Tyler. You know what I mean? So we can keep moving, and then
Sure.
we can pull those out. So
Okay.
Single asterisk is Cecilia. And I'll explain the code at the beginning when I send this back.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah, whatever works best for you.
Okay.
So then,
Tell me what to put up on the screen.
1.6.1
oh, yeah, well, yeah,
at the bottom,
yeah,
just above number 2.
SP comment?
yeah, right there. I thought we talked about this last time, like, I was just curious. Why it was struck out and should it be moved? But if I recall correctly, somebody had mentioned it already did get moved or something. Or maybe I'm misremembering. I was mostly just curious, like, what's the purpose of this text being struck out and. If it's struck out, why isn't it gone completely, already?
Was that part of our objectives?
can't
This is
remember.
gonna be replaced by the objectives and action steps.
Yeah, that was my intention when I did that. I deleted it, but I didn't wanna lose it, so I used strikeout.
Oh,
So the
okay,
text that is now on strikeout
Yeah.
has been replaced by the mission vision statement.
Oh, I see.
So
okay,
Or mission vision, yeah, awesome.
so do we need to look over that really quickly and just see if we. Feel like the section right above it encompasses everything below it, and if it
Yeah, I
does.
mean, I guess the question is everyone happy with striking out what the former text, which was the purpose of the Andrews Community Forest Committee, and just replacing that with the mission vision statement?
I was fine.
Yes.
I like that idea, I was just rereading it pretty quickly, just to make sure that we're not missing anything, but.
Oh, it does seem to. Like the new, like on. The stuff that's there now, numbers 1 through 4. Are great and talk about what we're doing for the forest. The other is more mechanics of the committee, you know?
Yeah.
Nothing about the forest, it's more of the, bureaucratic. I don't say that as pejorative, but more of the functional.
Melissa, you still have a hand raised, is
In
that?
the actual mission statement, Brad, check that out and see if that. You see right after it says mission. Did we try to wrap up those in that first couple sentences?
I didn't get what you were saying.
Like, right, see where it says mission?
Up here.
Yeah, and I was wondering,
Yeah.
do we try to condense those bullets into that first couple sentences right after mission?
To serve as a representative of the town and all that.
Yeah, so I was,
It's really not mission, it's more kind of function, maybe you have a function.
So below mission, we would have a function.
Yeah,
Committee function.
Yeah,
Well, that's why I said maybe we should just move this to section 1.5 because section 1.5 is governance of the Andrews Community Forest.
oh,
So
Oh,
the
yeah.
first paragraph, or let me start with the second paragraph. The second paragraph that struck out with the 3 bullet points seems like that has been integrated properly into the mission section already. So I would say that section, those 3 bullet points in the line above it could be removed. And then we may want to take the first paragraph that's highlighted, hoist it up into section 1.5.
Yep.
Because I don't know if that was, it doesn't look like that is integrated into the 2 paragraphs in section 1.5.
you showed me the 3 bullet points?
So I'm saying, right, so we've got,
These guys.
Oh, okay.
so I'm saying this from here down,
Uh-huh.
that's already covered here in the
Right.
mission, in the mission section.
Mhm.
So I'm saying, just delete those 3 bullet points and this line above it,
Yeah.
ACF agrees to strive towards this stuff.
Alright.
And then these 6 bullet points, this whole like first paragraph,
Uh-huh.
just cut it and then bump it up to section 1.5.
Right.
That's the
That's the governance.
service representative.
Exactly, so that's,
Yeah, I kind of like that.
it just seems more appropriate because
Uh-huh.
that's what it's talking about is what the committee is.
Yeah.
Is for, not the mission of the forest itself. And then the question is. Like, we could save it for outside of the meeting, but we might wanna just. Do a quick check to make sure there isn't overlap between those bullet points and the existing 2 paragraphs. Just so it's not overly worded.
Okay, I'll put a note in about that, yeah. Check for overlaps with 1.6. I'll put that on.
Or I would just say. Yeah, just check for overlaps between what's already in 1.5 and what you just pasted into that section. Okay, cool,
See a 2.2.2 comment,
2.2.
why these specific bird species?
2.2.2.
Biophysical region, yeah.
Your 2.2 says biophysical.
Keep going down. You got it.
2.2.2.
There it is.
Yeah.
This is biophysical region. Right.
Yeah,
So that's what's on the screen now.
yeah, that. Oh, and then I didn't see the red down there.
It's because you put your edits on top of my edits, which is what we're looking at here. And Melissa had her edits on a different copy that ended up on this PDF.
MW.
Yeah.
The Chase comments should be in the version that we're looking at on the screen.
And I just was commenting there, someone had asked, why is this in the management plan? And so my comment was just responding to
Yeah,
why
that's
isn't
great.
there.
That's it. Question answered.
Yeah.
Melissa, do you know the Bitnell, aren't they pretty much high altitude though?
They
they-
certainly are. They
Are they
are.
likely to, so does ACF play a role in those guys, you think?
You're saying we're too low for them,
Yeah,
probably.
I'm thinking of Sam, or not Sam, Dan, when, he was jumping on. It's like the cliff thing, the very first
Right.
version talked about cliffs, we don't have cliffs. So that's all,
Right. It just
Right.
should say several species of birds, then, you know what I mean?
Well, it'd be nice to, say there's, and some of those species hang out in the, are likely to hang out anyway. We could look at that Audubon.
Is the essence of this message that the high elevation forests of this region of southern Green Mountains are adjacent, unique and fragile ecosystems?
What's unique to this area?
Is that what we're trying to say is, because this whole section is making a nice point about the connectivity of the
Yeah.
whole region, we're talking about the high elevation forest. Maybe we just need to,
The high elevation, yeah,
I think that's why the Bicknell thrush is in there.
and even, is this a high elevation forest at 1,200 feet?
No,
No,
No.
yeah.
it's kind of talking about above 3,500 feet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would just have that sentence read, the high elevation forests of this region in the southern Green Mountains provide habitat for several, or for various species, like.
Or-
I don't know, why we've singled out
Provide
birds
habitat.
here, if they're not, I don't know, like. This whole like, big forest block is important for a variety of species, not just birds, and these
Right.
birds.
yeah,
aren't
I don't know
even-
why I don't know why birds was there. Birds has always been there, just said birds,
Yeah.
so
yeah. This
it
may
should just say
attract-
species and
Yeah,
put a period at the, after species and wipe out everything else there.
Yeah,
just I would say like a variety of species, right?
yeah, but so do the low elevation, I don't even know that, what is that sentence?
Yeah, they're trying to, I think they're trying to point out that it's a really diverse bioregion and this
Right.
is a part of it.
Right,
You
the
could just-
sentence
yeah.
before that.
Yeah,
It could
right.
end it could end
Yeah.
right there.
That's the
Asset,
word conditions,
Yeah, right
Yeah.
up, I'd end it there.
right?
okay,
Yeah, good point. Heavy precipitation in the mountains, Now, this is like a big overview, but I don't think we need all that. Okay, I'll just delete.
all right, so Ian, do you wanna scroll down on your version to see if there's anything else that?
That's annotated here.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, this is all the background material, isn't it? We've got history,
Yeah, we
I don't think
last
there's any
year.
comments here.
Nice.
Oh, well, of course, then we got into these sections that were called ecological resources and water resources, and now have been shifted into the appendix.
Yeah, and some of them, yeah, you're right. Some of it not, some of them in the main body, when we get around to the eco stuff. Because I know there's a bit of geology in there.
Yeah.
I mean,
And that material that's now an appendix that was in the packet last month in
Yeah.
January.
Can you go back up to, oh, you're there, no, 2.4.4 when you get there.
2.0, okay.
A
Right after
little,
climate, okay.
yeah, keep going down.
I don't see any comments anyway.
Well, I know I hand wrote them.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm down right below your comments. You had something that starts the text. I think it's above that, Brian. Must be above that. No? Down.
This doesn't have my comments. So I'm looking,
I wonder why.
I don't know. Cause I can't get the damn Word version.
All right, so, well, we'll get to that. So I had two little things.
Do we have it up there then? No, it's not there either. That's, yeah, I had a big comment there. Yeah.
Do you remember the comment?
Yeah, I've got it.
Oh, okay.
Comment about what
Do you have it on here?
Yeah, I've got it. It says, so I'm in 2.4.4, towards the bottom of it. It's right above Mary, Everett and Mary Jo Andrews. And Brad wrote, the text that starts at this point doesn't do justice to how Everett, Mary Jo and their daughters owned and worked and cared for the land. Suggests the following.
I know what's happened, I'm looking at,
You guys don't have that?
what I pulled up is the version that Julian sent, but it's an old version. Let me try this again.
All right, okay.
So many versions.
Mhm.
all because of open meeting law, like,
Right.
if the open meeting law restrictions didn't exist, we could have all just put our comments in the same document on the cloud, and this would be
Right.
so much easier.
Yes.
Like, this is, yeah, such a great. But you gotta play by the rules, I guess.
So the document you guys emailed me doesn't have this.
It just, yeah, I guess the one that you're commenting on just had, it was the original document that Ian sent us before last meeting with just the two of our comments on it.
Yeah.
God, I
The ver-
thought-
Okay, this is the version that's in the packet and it has
All right,
Brad's comments in red. Yeah. I'm
so
making
you wanna go to 2.4.4.
2
Yeah, that's,
Everybody-
that's a PDF though, right, you're showing?
Yeah.
Well,
PDF from the-
So then should we, Brad, I see some of your comments higher up. Should we go back up to,
Yeah.
so those,
So
I see a 1 and 2.1, Ian.
Okay,
Well, I gotta get to my latest version, which would have those.
Okay, yeah, so here we are.
Julian was commenting on my comment.
So we're in,
yeah, Brad, I'm sorry, I think this is what you were looking for and
Okay.
it wasn't in the version I was showing.
Look at one thing, so, Andrew's. What page was the interesting, right, remember,
2.4.4.
Which. Okay.
This looks, I think this is, I'm gonna use this.
2.4.4, history of the European settlement.
yeah, down at the bottom of that section.
Yeah, right. There's the comments from Brad. Which are on. This looks like we're on page 14.
Okay, leave it still for a sec. I want to read that.
Can you read that?
Yeah, just hold it still for 1 second.
So your comments aren't there, Brad?
Not on here either.
No.
It's okay, so I gotta get out of there. Not there, so I don't want that one.
So you gotta somehow save that, cause you made comments on
I
that.
know, been working on, here's my, this is my February 13th. My February 3rd. Okay, page 13. That's my
Yes.
test. It's gotta fill in there.
Point four.
Does that read like the
There you
opening
are.
paragraphs of a murder mystery novel?
Alright. Okay, now I'm looking at that.
All right. So you need to remember you made comments on that other
I
document.
will, yeah.
All right.
Brad, that looks great. I say we keep that, what you wrote, and
Yeah, in yours, I had two little edits.
Okay.
See, it says only the metal roof.
Uh-huh.
The metal roof has been recycled. It's
Oh,
gone.
okay.
And the two automobiles,
Yeah.
I just put abandoned, because they're not two abandoned
Oh, yeah,
automobiles.
right. Only two.
Abandoned. It's not like they're nice Buicks out there.
People should make- should go see.
So the roof is gone and the automobiles are abandoned. Or neglected, or whatever the
Okay.
proper.
should we end it by saying no one knows what else happened here? Now, Brad, this could be your mystery novel
I know.
right here.
What kind, are you Buicks?
Well, that's what somebody wrote, so yeah, I guess they are Buicks.
I have pictures of them both somewhere.
Well, it doesn't say, it says automobiles. I said Buicks. I don't know what they are. They're automobiles. They're just automobiles. I don't know what they are. Old
Alright.
and round.
Are we stereotyping Buicks?
Yeah, I guess so.
One of them, I don't know what this is.
So, right, are you seeing the same thing as I'm projecting? Your
Yes.
print is-
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Yeah.
And now I.
So, and Brad is too.
I think I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, should we go back up to 2.2?
Yeah, do we need to go back and go on this version?
So 2.2 was the start of Brad's comments, I think.
Yeah, which we skipped.
It's whining. Oh, yeah,
Coming up to,
good. 2.1, I see, sorry.
Yeah,
is this the one?
Oh, yeah.
so we got through,
Act 2.0.
we got through the birds.
Yeah. We're done with birds.
All right, so keep going down.
I saw some, all right,
There wasn't anything above this,
there is.
Oh, okay, let's go up then,
I'll go all the
just so that way we know we've covered everything.
Scroll up a little. We think there
Yeah.
might be a comment in 2.1.
Even 1.1.
1.1.
I made it strong, start.
1.1, that goes way back.
Oh, yeah.
1.1,
Yeah, I mean,
2.1, oh, 2.1.
the 1.1, right here. Keep going.
Oh, we're starting all the way over.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Let's scroll all the way up to the top.
Brad, we're leaving it
I know.
at, I don't know when we're leaving.
All right, so I was thinking. Can you go to 1.1?
1.1,
Oh, wow.
right.
It's a quick, it should be a quick one. I mean, it's a big strikeout, but a quick decision. So it's a whole history of personnel.
What?
Suggest replacing. All right. We are so solid. Huh.
So-
Okay, yeah, so just replacing this paragraph with, what paragraph, the original one? Like, we're going right above it?
So what was
I'm
your,
just
what was your reasoning, Brad, for those changes?
Sure.
Oh, it's just the shortening, I guess, you know.
Yeah, I would say sure.
Yeah, I'm fine too. Don't have a heart attack,
I am. It's not, this isn't matching what I'm still not looking at what that is.
right. I
Can
know.
you see that one okay?
No, that's not,
It's not what is on his computer, so we've got,
I don't know what,
we have too many versions.
Are you able to read that one?
only on the screen.
He'd like
Yeah.
to edit it and he can't
I'm trying to
edit it.
get to the.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I wanted to say no more comments sent to Ian. This is like crazy town with all the versions. So
Yeah.
like no more. If you want to comment, like bring it to a meeting and it's going to get included in the working master document, but you can't send any more, people can't send any more stuff to Ian. This is, and I didn't send any more because I was like, I read Brad's, I read Sam's, and I was like, if every single person starts doing this, it'll take us months to get through this.
Now, the
It's
good
too
news
much.
is,
There's no more
Yeah.
comments to Ian, no more.
The good news.
Bring it to a
is-
meeting.
Good news, when I scroll down, that is there. Okay, I had some stuff up above which is screwing me up, so we're okay.
Okay,
We're,
Alright,
It looks like Tyler's got the same here.
all right, so.
Tyler, you wanna?
Yeah, hey, real quick, you know what, if it's helpful to you guys, I have access to the Vermont League of Cities and Towns, like their legal desk. To like ask questions like off of them in terms of like municipal law and stuff. Would it be helpful for you guys for me to ask them to see if like editing a document is a violation of like open meeting law in terms of you guys trying to collaborate on that?
Sure.
I'm happy to do that. I mean, I don't know what the answer is going to be. My suspicion is I think there's some workaround to like for doing something like this. Like you couldn't approve it necessarily, right? But you could, in terms of like putting the thing together for you guys to talk about. I think there might be an exception for, at least I hope there is, but I'm willing to do
Right.
that if that'd be helpful.
Modern editing software is designed to solve this very problem.
Tyler, Melissa, what do you think, Melissa? Melissa's been in contact.
Not trying to hijack what you guys got going on, but I was just
No, I
like,
know.
I just thought that might,
I feel like
if that's of help, I'm happy to do that.
Yeah, I think I did attend that training, and so I think what I heard is that, yes, when you're all editing a document together outside of a meeting, that is work. So outside of the public eye. So they were not suggesting that we do that, from what I
And was
remember.
this a
from
VLTC training?
Yeah, so the training, so the measuring
Okay.
stick is, is the public, are you doing work out of the public eye outside of a warned meeting? So if we're all on a document, one document, editing it together, then yes, we're working together outside of a meeting. So I guess that was how we were. Yeah, so I guess that's how we were trying to work around, by sending all of our edits to one person, but it's turned into a really, this is really hard to follow with you guys
Yeah,
all,
because I
like,
know
who's
that
looking at
applies
which
for like
version.
emails with like the select board. I wasn't sure in terms of it being like, being that you guys are more advisory and that you guys are like working on a shared document that you're going to ultimately bring to the public.
Yeah,
that
I mean,
kinda
you should
makes
throw
sense.
it. Yeah, you could throw it to them and see what they say.
Yeah, I'll do that. I mean, again, it may be exactly what you said, but I'm actually curious myself because I do think, if it helps you guys work through the process, I'll let you guys get back to it. But I just thought I would offer. So since I have access to it, so
Yeah, thanks, Tyler.
So you're on 1.3 now.
Yeah, acquisition. So,
And let's be clear, this is the version that's in the packet. What we're
Right.
looking at now, I believe so.
yeah,
The version for today's packet.
Yeah, so there hasn't been discussion of these comments. These comments have just been sent. Put in the
Okay,
document.
so Brad, you noted this change is okay, 1-1.
yeah, when we're happy with.
And this is a 1.3. So what are we supposed to be looking at?
How about 1.5? 1.5?
Yeah.
You have something there for me? Yeah.
Yeah, Brad does.
You need to take care of that word primary easement stored again and change it to
Yeah.
conservation easement stored.
Yeah, I got that, Melissa, thanks. Well, this is worked out because of that fix that Melissa just referred to,
Yeah,
that ultimately responsible is primary, okay.
Yep.
So we can skip that,
yep.
that's no problem, I'm gonna delete it here. And, okay. Oh, minor, I mean, this is a word. The ACFC is charged with meeting the priorities and goals outlined in the management plan or as directed by the select board. I don't know, can the select board override the management plan? Or can
I think
the town
you're getting
manager-
getting down into the weeds. So
It's really weedy, well, let's
Yeah.
just blow
Yeah.
past that. We'll worry
Yep,
about
yep.
that.
I think
Melissa-
someone reading it, they just need to know who's in charge. That's all they want to know.
Yeah. All right, 9-person, is it 7 and 9 is Melissa
We just said that.
points out, right?
Yep,
No, it is a 9-person committee.
right.
Oh,
Yeah, there's no 7-2.
There's
Oh,
no
so
7
this-
to 9.
oh,
That's not my comment. That wasn't my comment.
oh, it says, okay,
All right, it's 9.
It says it was my comment, but it wasn't my comment.
okay.
It is a
All right, so we wanna
9-person
get rid of
committee.
that.
Didn't sound like
Get rid of that.
that. Okay. All right, Sam, and
I
you.
never
you got-
said it.
Yeah, we already talked about some, we're gonna wait till we have.
Oh, that.
So we can
yeah,
skip that one.
Okay. Okay, so we keep going.
Yep,
So,
We're back to the mission part.
I thought we got through that.
Yeah, that's it
Did we?
too, but this, now that we're looking at a different document, I don't know. I think we still at least have the same thoughts about the sections that are struck out, right? The first section of bullets
Yeah,
go up to 1.5, and
okay.
the second section of bullets get removed.
Okay, so on
1.6.
1.6, I gotta refer back to the other one, okay.
Yeah.
All righty,
So moving on,
yep,
2.1.
right at the bottom. Oh, yeah. It's minor. Does it say something about? Oh, yeah, so I'm suggesting just get rid of the in the west and south, because he's done stuff in the east too, that's all.
Where does it say west and south?
Just
Southerly facing,
right in front of
What section are you in?
2.1. Did you go to 2.1? No, the other direction. Yeah. Oh, it's gone anyway. Maybe Ethan, or maybe Ian took it out. So that's.
Hey, Morgan.
Hmm.
I think it was just a mute issue. So we can just skip that.
Yeah, skip the some of Ethan's that. Then for all the following, the description. Oh, yeah, so this is. All of the following is true, so everything below that overall. This. Is kind of out of date. I think it's a pickup maybe from the earlier one, but now it seems this Vermont Conservation Design. Seems to be the new organizational scheme for conservation. And it has this three-tiered approach to landscape. Community and species. So. What are we supposed to be talking about for this? So I would. Suggest, and it happens later on, because this, I think appears in the. Ecological part. There's a description of some of this. Do I say something specific? Studies could be mentioned. Yeah, so I don't I don't suggest anything. To replace this, but I think it should be replaced because I think it's kind of old. That Chittenden County's Uplands Conservation Project is still. Out there as kind of as a concept, but it's not like,
It's not active,
it's not like people get together and say, what are we gonna do this month,
right?
Something comes up, there's this general scheme, general concept that says we ought to be conserving lands in this area. And wow, that forest fits right in, and that's great, we're conserving more of the area. But I think that we could maybe get our kind of our marching orders on the conservation front. Or articulate them through the language of the conservation design, only because it seems that's what the state is doing these days.
So you're suggesting just a rewrite of that?
Yeah,
So how do we want to handle that?
yeah.
Are you suggesting you rewrite it and send that to Ian, or do we do it right now, or do it?
Yeah, I could draft yeah. That's a good idea.
So
Why don't
maybe
I,
we draft
why
it.
don't I draft, keep it in, don't get rid of it yet.
Yeah.
So everyone sees that.
So maybe when you draft that, I guess all these changes are gonna be highlighted in the next version that we see
Okay.
anyway.
I'll take a
you
crack at
just
that.
note that it's,
Yeah.
it's written outside.
It may not work, I don't know.
Okay.
It's an idea, so we'll see.
I think that's a good idea, though, to try to frame it in terms of what Vermont Conservation Design is trying to. What their goals are, right, since they're sort of the governing, the state governing body, it makes sense to try to line up.
And it feeds into the whole biofinder thing,
Yeah,
and that whole, all the stuff Fish and Wildlife is doing.
no, it's smart, I mean, it makes sense to use all the same terminology,
Okay.
should make it more clear for people who are following all of that.
I would, don't worry about this, the good points below. This happens further on where I recommended, sort of consolidating a bunch of this into a shorter ecological section. Yeah, which it says. Can you just go up a little bit in? You'll see the comment right above geology.
Yeah,
Much of the 2.2 section is consolidated and is gonna come up later.
Well, I guess yeah,
So we could, if you want, I mean, I would go through and now maybe it's just scan what's there. And eventually we'll get to the eco section.
so are we skipping the good points below, but
Yeah.
it's early in the document, feels like we're delaying.
Yeah. It's just a lot of stuff to go through and it's sort of a primer on things that I think could be shortened.
So
And
does that
then
mean we just wanna get rid of those two sentences?
I would get rid of like,
The Vermont is losing over 1,400 acres or 14,000 acres of forest land each year.
yeah, yeah, but what I'm ultimately recommending is we get rid of. That maybe that whole section, no, get rid of 2.2. All the way down to 2.4. Cause all that is, keep it here for now, but you'll see it's all folded into a tighter ecological resources section, which is coming up.
it's very much background.
Yeah, and that, and if
Looking
not,
forwards.
it goes to the back to the appendix to try to get more to the management points. So,
Okay.
so then
So
it-
keep moving then.
then it's indigenous and that's kind of, I guess, Cecilia's department.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have any comments there, so.
And then the Andrews,
Which we're already cool with those. Right?
yeah,
I don't know the details, but see, Cecilia refers to what's going on among indigenous communities in Vermont and across into Quebec, some disagreement about who gets to belong to which group,
Yeah.
and so this may be in flux, I don't know, maybe.
yeah.
Yeah, I know the drama a little bit. It's like big drama.
Yeah.
Like,
So
Well,
I think we're really dependent on Cecilia or on anybody she can
Yeah.
recruit to advise us on this.
the
racial. justice.
Odanak Abenaki are making the claim that the Vermont Abenaki are not actually Abenaki.
Are those more the Canadian?
Yeah, they're saying actually all the Abenaki were flushed out and put in this camp up there. And then other people moved in and claimed their Abenaki heritage. But really, and who knows, So they're saying these Vermonters are speaking for Abenaki, but they're really Algonquin from further east.
Wow.
But
And
then they're saying that they are Abenaki, right? So that's what they're.
yeah, and like UVM professors' credibility is on the line because they've really sided with the Vermonters, but now maybe there's data that's showing.
Oh, boy.
So I followed it, one of Cecilia's colleagues is a friend of mine.
Mm,
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Right.
And
You know, I think from our
yeah,
perspective, the issue is indigenous people who lived here and
yeah,
lived on this, in this.
agreed.
It makes it hard for
forest
us to figure out who to
and-
kind of work with, though.
That, I think that's right, but
That's it.
I think anyone that really wanted to work with us would have a voice.
So, I mean, putting a name, Abenaki, to those people may not be helpful from our perspective, as long as we recognize that these are the indigenous
Yeah,
people who
we'll have to catch up with
exist,
that.
who were living here before the Europeans showed up. But I guess we really need Cecilia, because she was
Yeah.
responsible for most of this, as I think, as I understand, and, you know, in contacting community people.
That'd be- That's good. So,
All right, should we keep scrolling?
yeah,
Yeah. Looking for red comments, or, there is some, so I think we were here, weren't we, before
Yeah, like,
the
Oh,
history of
past
the
there.
farm.
yeah, go past. Yeah, we did that with the automobiles.
yeah.
So keep going down.
Yeah.
And we talked briefly about that. Okay, Brandon entered some material and it's in red. So the red is Brandon's additions.
So if we're gonna mention Ethan Tapper in the sentence above the red, we might wanna mention Brandon's name here. If that just, so. You know, we could say something like, the current county forester, Brandon, offered the following.
Did Brandon offer this map as well?
I think that's the
No,
prior map. It hasn't been updated.
He saw it though, so maybe
Right.
we could assume it's okay.
Right.
Seems like it should have some kind of credit on it where it came from.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
source.
Source.
May come out of this forestry plan, but he didn't say that.
Right.
yeah, screen grab from somewhere, since there's a
Yeah.
little hand
Yeah.
in the map. Somebody's
I
mouse
think-
cursor.
Brad, you put that map in and it doesn't have a caption,
Yeah,
but you found it someplace, and so we can.
did I
try to
stick it
where
in there,
came from.
in forestry? It might have, it
Yeah.
wasn't there, okay. Anyway. We'll take care of it, I'll put a note on that.
So do we want to, in this section, after it says, you know, under the direction, of then Chittenden County Forester Ethan Tapper, then just go on to say in 2024,
Brandon,
Brandon Benedict.
Right.
Yeah, or, yeah. The town, you know, the town began working with Brandon
Right.
Benedict, the
Yep.
succeeding Chittenden County Forester.
that's good.
And then I'm assuming all this red
Yeah,
is
that's-
just stuff that he's suggesting be added,
Yeah.
not replacing
Yeah.
anything, right?
Right.
Yeah, he sent that in January, I think.
What you're gonna see though is later. There's more forestry to come, cause this is split, you know, we're gonna leave the natural the draft that we're looking at. Sort of walks away from the natural stuff. And recreation, all these topics, goes into some other stuff, then it comes back to all these things. And what I was suggesting is we try to merge those, so we go, if we're in recreation, we have some preamble and objectives, what we do, you know, all these things. So anyway, but in the draft, we're gonna come to another forestry section. It doesn't look like Brandon even saw that. Cause there's not a change there. So we should, on Friday, when we see him, we can ask him if he saw both forestry parts of this.
Yeah, when he sent this material, he said that he didn't want to change the management plan, that, I can't remember
So
exactly his
everything
reasons,
later is
but he
okay.
saw it and
Oh, great.
said that he didn't want to make changes.
Okay, good, okay.
So he just thought to add more to the history, but not to the prescribed plan of action.
Yeah,
Okay.
Excellent, okay, cool.
Well, yeah, I don't have any issues with what he's written, seeing as he's the professional. If I got a question, what, whatever he wants to add in here.
Yeah,
yeah, I can look for this cover email.
No, that's okay.
These revised texts, and I'm working from memory, but I'm sure I'm right. He said, I don't want to mess with the
okay.
management plan section.
So we've been doing this for 2 hours. Do we
Okay.
wanna,
Yes,
Oh, we're almost.
and we have an agenda that says, what is it, at 8:25? We do have a little bit more business.
right, so do we want to, we're cooking with gas.
I know.
Can we keep going? Is that,
Yeah, I'm fine with it. If people wanna keep going, I don't have an issue with it.
Yeah,
do we wanna stop at 9? And
I'm
then,
gonna cut out at 8:30, you guys, so that's fine if
Yeah,
we keep going. but
I made a
I'm-
commitment to be home for
okay,
a late dinner. It's
all right, so,
So.
so I said 8:45, I'd be home. For
okay, so we'll
late
stop
dinner.
at 8:30,
Yeah,
okay.
and we have something else to talk about, so we have 5 minutes?
Yeah, what's on the agenda is, 8:20 actually is update about our input to the town plan. If you have anything to offer. And then, 8:25 is topics for our next meeting, which I think we should. I don't know if you have any updates on whether we're.
Well, so yeah, Brad had looked at some stuff, I looked at some stuff. I'm also in the loop on RCC town plan stuff. There was questions about the deadline at the end of January. Judy reached out to Virginia and Virginia said, don't worry about the January deadline. I mean, we still need to get to it soon, but it wasn't like, well, if you don't get your stuff in by the end of January, too bad. So we've got a little bit of leeway. I'll connect with you. Sorry, I've been busy the last couple of weeks, and then we're meeting on the 24th. So
Yeah.
anyway, so couple weeks. That I'm meeting with RCC tomorrow, and we're gonna talk about some of this town plan stuff tomorrow. So I'll have hopefully have some insight into what we might wanna work on. There's a lot of overlap too. It's like I'm on both of the committees and, there's a lot of, there's so much of a tangle between like
Yeah,
all this stuff that could apply to this committee and to that committee or that commission, and then also other committees in town. So I was getting a little bit overwhelmed just looking at the list because it was like, there's just so many items and they're all assigned to different people and, but I know that Bob Lowe also has, he worked a lot on the town plan and he had thoughts about stuff that had been like completed and stuff that's still, still being worked on. So
okay.
yeah, we'll connect and then I guess the two of us will update, the committee in a couple weeks.
I think the biggest thing Virginia is asking if we shouldn't have, under natural resources, if there shouldn't be an ACF goal. Because right now it's incorporated into town-owned properties. And, there's a bunch of things about that. So and we have actually another little town forest too. So maybe it's a town forest thing. I don't know, it's my mentality being lazy, I think, but I was thinking we would pick up the purposes of the easement as they stand and plug them in as our goals.
Because the town plan as it stands. Was sort of synchronous with the purchase of the Andrews Forest. So Andrews Forest barely appears in the current town plan. But you're thinking that it doesn't need special mention or
I don't
I
know,
mean, it can be included in.
under town-owned properties, the way it is now, maybe, we can mention it, but I don't know if it needs a distinctive thing there, you know? So.
Yeah.
But we
Should
can talk
definitely-
about
It seems
that
like they
down
should,
the
I mean, this can later, but a reference to the management plan. In the town plan.
Yeah.
It needs a cross reference, but, and also, I mean, I think Sam is really in a good place. We're very fortunate to have you working from the perspective of the Conservation
Yeah.
Commission as well.
Yeah,
It's
that's
really-
good.
it's-
We have, yeah, I know we have ours scheduled for the meeting on the 18th. To script that out for trails.
Okay, cool.
I have two little things at the end of 209.
Okay. 2.9.
2.9. So after the table,
Yeah,
there's a paragraph, called adjoining the, I don't know what it's called, but it says adjoining the Andrews Community Forest North.
yeah,
And, it says that VLT is the easement holder. It's not. It's Vermont Forest Parks and Rec. So it's fourth line down in the paragraph that starts with adjoining. So it's right there.
oh,
But, you know,
VLT did a survey, we don't know about that.
yeah, I don't know about that.
So what don't we just say?
It's 2.9.
It's below the table, right here.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Forest
Vermont Forest Parks and Recreation.
Parks and Recreation.
Right.
Forest Parks. Recreation. Oh, it's. Conservation.
Yep.
Good.
Yep. And then, 210, I have just, it's a typo.
I have 129
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
in there. Just that I wrote at the bottom, it says trail closures are monitored by RMT, but trails are not listed at the Richmond Trails map, nor mentioned on the web page. There's informal connectivity. The two things, I think none of the, I don't know if it's worth mentioning, just saying that conserved private land is not listed on town maps generally. So it's not an omission
Right.
more than just a
Yep,
standard.
yep.
And then
Right.
there is formal connectivity to the north now to the intersection of Fitzsimons Road and Brown's Trace.
Right.
From
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 Sunshine.
Sunshine, yeah.
Yeah, yep,
Yeah, David Keating has allowed users to pass through his forest roads. And,
right,
and then it connects to, that goes to Milo White.
right.
And then the cobble, what, I don't know what, I always call it the cobble, but there's another trail, the Pause Path, that's a multi-use trail that goes down to Fitzsimons Road.
Yep,
And that's Jericho.
that's Jericho.
So
Yeah.
the town line is, where is the town line? In that,
It's north of Danny, a little bit north of Danny's property.
okay,
Yep,
so, yeah, so that's, it's Richmond up to that point.
right. I said David, it's a little north of David Sunshine's property.
Yeah, so it's just, it's,
Right.
you can say there's formal connectivity.
So what you're then, what are you getting at there, Chase, that the bit about the trails are not listed on the trails map and or mentioned is sort of irrelevant?
I would just say that, I was just gonna say there is connectivity.
Oh, yeah, but the fact of they're not listed or mentioned,
Oh, yeah, they're not added to that.
but we don't need to say
Yeah.
that at all, right? And
Right.
then,
So what you were just saying, Chase, the guy's name you said, and then it goes to Milo White and then to a place called the Cobble. Like, is that
Yeah.
all on a map somewhere, or that's just like,
I don't know if it's
Local.
on a map, it is a trail that Richmond Trails helps out maintain, I help with it.
Mhm.
And it's
Oh.
called the Keating Transit is the name of the trail.
Uh-huh.
And it's a lot of, it's his woods roads
Right.
mostly.
So
and
he connects to David Sunshine.
Yeah, from Milo White to
Yep.
David Sunshine.
But is that?
There's actually another landowner between Milo White and Keating,
Hmm.
and that trail is called California Dreamin'. But there's like signs and
Right.
it's,
Yeah, so on the ground, it's documented by these signs, but is it on Richmond Mountain Trails map?
or is it on Trail Forks?
Trail Forks.
Why do we need all that?
I was just saying, get rid of informal, the word informal. Because they are,
Formal.
trails that the landowners are excited to have people use.
Okay, so just, it would read, there is connectivity.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
okay.
Gotcha, okay.
And the next paragraph, I got a typo.
Well, with the editor, where,
That should be the, instead of SE.
the lower mid, oh, let me see, the lower middle paragraph. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. All right, I had a couple
thank you.
up higher on recreation, I think. I don't know, did we get the, can you back up to the top of recreation? Under
It'll be
Chase and
here.
Adjourn?
Above the chart.
Which section? Oh, yeah.
The green there.
Yeah,
No, down, yeah, there,
right there. Up.
Yeah, just above the title. Here we go.
Yeah.
a little higher.
Further up.
The green comments, yeah,
Right up
Okay,
to, up to
yeah.
here,
Like this.
yeah.
Oh, the green one, sorry. Yeah.
a little more,
A little further
Yeah,
up.
I got it. Yeah, I think that was it.
There it is.
so
Okay.
that's, all right, Brad, where are they? Conclusion of the sentence. I don't know what that is, don't worry about it.
Okay.
Okay, some of those roads are unsuitable for. Oh, okay, so increased, because they're being used now. And it doesn't seem to be an issue. So
Yeah, agreed. I use them.
it seemed to be written to shut down all the existing roads. And therefore end up in Tyler hell. So.
That and also like there
Tyler's
is,
still on board.
I mean, the easement guarantees like dispersed access
Well,
anyway,
that's
so
true,
you
too,
can't
yeah.
really shut those down. I mean, you could like knock some trees
Yeah.
over and discourage people, but you can't actually shut them down. So I agree. I think adding increased there makes sense.
And because of that, and this may be a contentious one, but that's why I was suggesting adding the point. Some of the roads, yeah, are unsuitable, but others could be lightly maintained for continuing use as footpaths, as they are now. And that would supplement multi and single use trails in appropriate areas.
Okay, this will be our last comment, because we're now at eight
Yeah,
thirty.
we're out of town.
Yeah, I think this is a tricky one because it gets into, well, what's the plan? You know,
It
what's
is.
the trail plan? Like,
Right.
would these be on the map? Or are we just saying, hey, these trails already exist, let's clean them up just because we can, like, let's get rid of the deadfall, and then if people happen to find the trails, then they'll have a nicer time.
Right.
Or are we gonna say, you know what, let's just leave these be, if we're not going to officially decide these are our trails that we are trying to direct people to, then perhaps it makes more sense to just let them sit as is. And people who want to adventure, you know, onto those trails
Yeah.
will just have to deal with stepping over logs, you know, or trees that fall or whatever. I mean, I do that, like I walk on those trails, they're completely usable.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're able to hike up the trail, you're able to, you know, step over a fallen tree.
Even
you know,
reach
climb
that
over it.
place, yeah.
And that's,
So you're saying maybe defer this?
I would say
It is-
defer it because we don't know what the
We should-
trail plan is, so like.
We should talk.
Yeah, exactly. It's like if we want to you know, officially designate these as footpaths that we want to direct people to, then like those would go on the map and those would get cleaned up. And then we would tell people, yeah, go check out these trails.
Right.
Versus if we're trying to do like one, you know, one trail up to the ridge, then like maybe we would not want to put these trails on the map, because then it would probably be better for wildlife to direct all the traffic to that one, you know, main trail versus having both, which is kind of the worst of both worlds, right? Because then it's like, well, we have this higher traffic trail that goes up to the ridge, and then we also have all these other logging trails that we've cleaned up. And then where does the wildlife go? So like, I think this needs to wait for a bigger discussion, since we haven't really gotten into the
I
meat
think
of
so.
trails versus, you know. I think we still need to talk about it a little bit more.
I think so too, and now we can't do it.
On that note, I'm not here next
You got it.
meeting.
Oh, no.
Also, cause it's February break,
So when is the next meeting?
going to
2
Mexico.
weeks, it's on, at least I have it down as the 20.
No, Mexico City.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
I won't be here either.
Oh, cool.
Okay, so yeah,
So, yeah, we've got, I mean, what we're scheduled for is March 24th is our regular meeting anyway, but we put in an extra one for March 10th. So,
oh yeah, I will be here for that.
and both apparently it's.
Oh, we don't have a February 20, I thought there was a February 20.
we have, I mean, we talked about it. I mean, this was our additional meeting, and then the 24th was the regularly scheduled meeting that we kept on the calendar,
Okay.
right?
But 24th is not happening.
Oh, it's not, the 24th of
I understand. the
February,
24th of February.
is not happening.
Yeah, it was part of the
Got it,
meeting,
got it.
and then towards the end of the last
Yeah,
meeting, we
okay.
scrapped it,
And really brought it forward.
brought it
today.
forward tonight, yeah.
So the next meeting would be March 24th?
March 10th and March.
Oh, okay,
So
so
with
I'm sorry.
2 meetings in March.
Okay, got it.
So, I mean, my understanding is the 10th is the additional one, but maybe it doesn't really matter what.
So you're not here the 10th?
No, that's
But,
correct.
Where are you
No.
going?
It's winter camping in, New Hampshire,
So I missed all that. The
in
next
terms
meeting
of-
is,
March 10th.
Guidance. Melissa's gonna be chairing the next 2 meetings and, so do we have any sense of how we wanna, what material?
No,
we
we're not
want?
getting into the agenda right now. Ian, it's time to go. We're gonna, well, you and I are gonna meet and we'll set the agenda. And people can send us or you things that they'd like to have on the agenda. We are allowed to do that
Yeah.
per open meeting law, but we're not getting into it now.
It is late, so I think we need to head
yeah,
home.
it's good. I guess.
Alright,
Okay,
Motion to adjourn?
I'll make that
Second.
motion, or you made it, I'll second, all right.
alright,
All in favor?
Good.
yeah,
Now we-
thank you all.
Bye, guys.
Brought some snow tonight.
Happy
Yeah.
trails to everyone that's going somewhere
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.